Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and today we're going to be doing a versus video between the Adidas Harden Volume 8 and the Adidas AE 1. So of course, James Harden versus Anthony Edwards. They're both Adidas hoop shoes and they're both top tier performers. Amazing shoes. I love playing in both of the shoes. And if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll try to leave the affiliate link in the description box. And if you guys do choose to get either of these shoes, it does help me out if you click on the link and buy the shoes, or you can get the shoes from like the products, with the pictures underneath this video as well. And as always, thank you guys so much for all of the support. But yeah, as far as the price goes, the AE1 is 120 bucks and the Harden Volume 8 is 160 bucks, which is $40 more expensive, which is really crazy, you know what I mean? Because the tech is pretty much the exact same, you know what I mean? $40 price difference is crazy. But yeah, Adidas, I don't know what they're doing because all their shoes are pretty much selling out in all their sizes on the Adidas site. So I'm guessing they're making it so that the quantity is limited. There's really no reason to be doing that, I guess it does create a higher demand. I don't know. I'm just kind of sad like pretty much all the colorways are sold out. But if you go on like Foot Locker, it is still available, Champs or Finish Line. But anyways, let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. And if you're playing on a clean court, both of these shoes are freaking amazing. Top tier tractions. I would say, however, since we are doing a versus video, I'm gonna nitpick a little bit, and I would say the AE1 has a little bit better of a bite. You know what I mean? It just stops really well. The Harden's still really nice though. Has an amazing, it's top tier. You know what I mean? But like I said, nitpicking, the AE1 just stops a little bit harder on a clean court. However, on dust, the AE1 is a good amount better, right? For me, the Harden Volume 8 was picking up a good amount of dust, and I think like wipe pretty frequently, it picks it up kind of quickly and not super quickly, but I did find myself having to wipe, comparing it to the AE1, which I really never had to wipe. Binds through dust really well, and it's a really easy wipe, and also didn't really pick up dust that much, so if you're playing on a dirtier court, obviously the AE1 is going to be better. If you're playing on an outdoor court, however, the Harden Volume 8 is going to be better. The rubber is harder and there are more grooves, I guess, more surface areas, so the Hardens seem like it'll be more durable on an outdoor court. But if you're playing on indoor court, the overall better performance for traction is the AE1. However, the Harden Volume 8 is still really nice. It's top tier. So there's that. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, they're both pretty dang smooth. So here in the heel, look at this. Here in the heel for the Hardens, look at how rounded it is. You know what I mean? That's pretty crazy. This is exposed foam, so it's kind of soft, The AE1, it has a nice curve shape. It is caged, but there is a little bit of compression here, so it's still nice and smooth in the heel for the AE1. And then coming here into the forefoot, the AE1 has a pretty nice curve shape, and same thing here in the Hardens. I would say the Hardens are a little bit more curved, it feels like, but they're pretty similar, And then as far as the forefoot flex goes, they both have a good amount of forefoot flex. Look at that, When I first got it, the Hardens didn't really do this, but once I broke it in, like, it's a good amount of flex, And then it has a nice little rebound back, Same thing with the AE1. The AE1, very flexible, but has a nice rebound back. So very nice and smooth for heel to toe transition for both of the shoes. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So yeah. As far as the tech goes, they're both using Jet Boost, and the Harden Volume 8, on their side, they're saying Jet Boost, but for the AE1s, they're saying Light Strike and Jet Boost. But anyways, as far as like the foam goes, it's not super important. I'll just tell you guys how it feels. And as far as like step and comfort, they're both really nice and comfortable. You know what I mean? Not amazing. If you're comparing it to like, I don't know, Zoom Strobel or like full length Air Strobel, or even like the Kai ones, with the full length N2 foam and the very open soft mesh strobe board, right? But anyways, it's still really nice in both of these shoes. However, one difference is that the Harden Volume 8 feels just a tiny bit higher up off the ground, which is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? I was playing in both of these shoes at the same time, right? I had, the AE1 on one foot and the Hardens on the other foot, and just walking around and playing it, the Hardens feel a little bit higher up off the ground. They're both really nice for a court feel, but this is a versus video and a comparison, and the AE1 is just a tiny bit lower to the ground. But like I said, step and comfort is pretty dang similar because of the softer Strobel board and also the cutout in the heel. They're both using like the Jet Boost, so step and comfort is pretty dang similar. I would say the Harden Volume 8 feels a little bit more plush. You know what I mean? Also, another thing is that it is using foam here for the Hardens, so you have a little bit more compression, but it's not that much softer because honestly, this whatever foam they're using, it's probably just, you know, EVA or something like that. It's not that soft here either, you know, even though the AE1 is like caged, there's still a little bit of compression, you know. So as far as like, you know, feel, it's a very similar feeling cushioning setup, but like I said, it's just a little bit better for court feel in the AE1. Impact protection is adequate in both of the shoes, so I really like the cushioning setup in both of the shoes. Very similar feeling. And now moving on to the uppers, so the Hardens are really crappy. I really don't like the Harden material, especially here. Look at this. Like, I don't know what are they thinking, making it so like roomy here. You know what I mean? I don't like that. The quality of this material also isn't great. And another thing that I really don't like about, you know, the Hardens is the creasing, especially with this foam. You know, it looks great, especially when you first get it, but once you start breaking it in and playing in it, I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but look at all these crease marks. You know what I mean? Look at that. So that does not look good. But one thing I really like about the Hardens, however, is the inner booty, right? The booty is nice. It stretches over your foot. It pretty much feels like a sock. You know what I mean? So it improves the fit, feels very comfortable as well. And I just love stretching it out and putting it on. That's a really nice feel as well. But here in the AE1, definitely the quality feels better even, you know what I mean? Because, you know, for 160 bucks, this is not great. But the AE1, also nothing that I don't like about the plastic cage is, or these plastic wings, is like the scuff marks. Look at all this. Right, you can see, I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but there's a lot of scuff marks on it. You know what I mean? So I don't like that. But you know, as far as like the quality, it just feels a little bit better. You know what I mean? But anyways, how does it feel on foot? I would say the Harden Volume 8, however, feels a little bit better because of the inner booty, and then you have all this going over your foot for better. It's basically like a cage, you know, has better support or improves the support, you know. So although the AE1 is still really nice for support, I would say like how it feels on foot, I like the inner booty of the Hardens better, you know. And then for the AE1, you have this, you know, there's really no padding for the tongue, but I do like the elastic straps. Keeps the tongue in place and kind of like stretches the tongue over your foot, which feels great. And there's not like really no padding here in the ankle area for the AE1s. The Hardens, also same thing, not a whole lot of padding, but like I keep saying, it just feels better on foot because of the inner booty. But for quality and also how it looks, the AE1 definitely looks better, you know what I mean? So there's the upper there. Moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size for the Harden Volume 8 and true to size for the AE1, and they both fit me well. I mean, the Hardens, definitely there is a little bit of length, you know what I mean? But you know, because of the inner booty, I didn't really mind it all too much. But of course, if you want like a more snug fit, then going true to size, you should probably be fine. But like I said, you know, if you want to be a little bit more safe, you know, you can probably go up half a size and it won't be that big of an issue because, like I said, for me, I didn't really mind it, right? But yeah, they are both really nice fitting shoes for me. One thing that I don't like about the Harden Volume 8, however, is the toe box, you know what I mean? Because of this kind of like stretchier inner booty thing, here in the toe box, it is kind of stretchy. And because like this is so freaking loose, it just feels not super supportive here on top of my foot. You know, I mean, obviously you don't really need that much support here on top of your foot. You need it more on this like lateral side. But you know, I can like put my toes up like this and kind of stretches the upper, you know. So I don't really like that all too much. I like more of like a contained feel like here in the AE1. So anyways, there's that. Moving on to the support and lockdown, I had zero issues for both of the shoes. As far as lateral containment goes, I mean, the Hardens, you're covered, you know, they're using foam. Look at this, you know, so your foot is not coming out of the footbed at all, even if you're a bigger guy doing crazy lateral movements. The same thing here with the AE1. You have this crazy plastic wing that is containing your foot. Your foot is not going to come out of the footbed in either the AE1 or the Harden Volume 8. And as far as the lateral stability goes, they're both very wide shoes. Look at that. So super duper wide, you should be good to go. I didn't really have any issues with lateral instabilities. And also, heel lockdown was great. Once I tightened the laces down really tight for both of them, my foot felt really locked into the shoe in both of the shoes. So yeah, support and lockdown, really nice for me, right? Now moving on to the weight of the shoe, they're both really heavy, you know. So as far as the AE1 goes, this shoe's like 15.5 ounces, and then the Harden Volume 8 is really heavy as well, 15.35, you know. So the Harden Volume 8, I guess, is a little bit lighter, but you know, 0.15, 0.2 ounces isn't that big of a deal, you know. So yeah, they're both heavy feeling. However, the AE1 is less bulky feeling. The Hardens, you know, especially with all this foam and all, look at this, you know, with the rubber, especially here in the heel, it does feel a lot more bulky, you know. It doesn't feel super bulky, which to the point where I hate it, but it definitely does feel bulkier than the AE1. So if you want the less bulky feeling shoe, then definitely go with the AE1. And they are both very responsive, you know? Traction's really good in both of these shoes. They're both very low to the ground feel. Support's great, lockdown's great. So when you're playing in them, you feel very, very quick. However, they are heavy. But I like the feel of the AE1 better because it's just, nothing's really protruding out like crazy, you know, it's not as bulky. So there's that. Moving on to the ventilation, they're both not the greatest, you know what I mean? I mean, there is a little bit more airflow, I would say, through the Hardens because of this inner booty. And I guess the AE1 is not, there's really no airflow, you know? So I would say the Harden Volume 8 is a little bit better for ventilation. And moving on to the aesthetics, yeah, the AE1 is way better. Honestly, the Harden Volume 8, it's just not growing on me that much, you know what I mean? And that new green color that came out, not a huge fan of it, you know, as far as the overall design goes. The AE1 just looks better to me. So tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, okay, so if you care about price, obviously the AE1 is going to be better. It's $40 cheaper and has very similar performance. But if you don't really care about money and if you want the overall better performer, I would say the AE1's better, just because, you know, the traction is a little bit better, especially on a dusty court. The cushion is very, very similar feeling, although I would say the Harden Volume 8 is a little bit more comfortable, I guess, because you know, the Jet Boost seems a little bit thicker, but not that big of a difference. It just feels not as bulky, you know what I mean? Although the number weight is pretty similar, it's not as bulky, so it feels a little bit better for me than the Harden Volume 8, right? So yeah, I mean, the Harden Volume 8 is still a really, really nice shoe. It's an amazing performer. It's just, it is a little bit more expensive. I don't like the material quality, and I don't like the crease marks either. And you get a very similar performing shoe for cheaper, and it's just a little bit better in my personal opinion, with the reasons that I just said. So anyways, for me, in my personal opinion, the AE1 is better. So that about concludes this versus video. Again, if you guys want to cop either of these shoes, I'll try to leave them for link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.